What is up, guys? Justin here with a massive pickups video for you today. And this comes as kind of a refreshment after going the last, 3 or 4 months without really finding much of anything. I think this makes it into like the top 3 most expensive video game deals I've ever done. I don't know if it makes it into like the top 3 biggest ones, but that means that I got a lot of quality here. And I got a lot of stuff for my collection. This is definitely the biggest purchase I've made towards my collection in a very long time. And I think you guys will be pretty curious to hear where all of this came from. So be sure to stick around to the end for that, because I want to hop in here and start showing some stuff. I've got a big box of Super Nintendo cartridges next to me here that I'm going to start with. The deal is basically Super Nintendo, N64. There was a lot of nice PlayStation stuff, PS1, PS2. There was some Xbox stuff, and then some miscellaneous stuff as well, some DS stuff, a few handheld games, and some systems, which I'll show later. But let me hop into the Super Nintendo cartridges here. I've got some more Super Nintendo like filler stuff and some really nice box stuff that I'll show later on, but these are just the cartridge-only stuff here. I'll start out by showing Super Double Dragon. I've not had a copy of this in a while. We got Hyperzone here, and The Hunt for Red October, which needs a little TLC. We got Super Strike Eagle. I'm going to get this one out of the way because it's not really a game. Game Genie. So we got Tiny Toon Adventures Wacky Sports Challenge and Tecmo Super Bowl. So this one's got a little bit of a story to go along with it. This is Kokoma Night in Busyland, which is a pretty hard to find game on the Super Nintendo, but oddly enough not very expensive. So I had never even seen or heard of this game up until a couple months ago when Ryan brought it to my attention and asked me if I'd ever had it before. And I was like, no, I've never heard of that game before. So I looked it up online thinking it was going to be some obscure really expensive RPG or something, because that's kind of what it sounds like, Night in Busyland. But no, it's like a $20, $30 cartridge. I think it's like a puzzle type game. I looked up a little bit of gameplay a couple weeks ago, and it kind of reminded me of like Bomberman or something like that. But anyway, the reason this is so crazy is because this is the second copy of the game I've gotten in like 3 weeks. So Cooper over at Double Jump Video Games, they just launched their website a few weeks ago. And the first day they launched it, I hopped on there and was looking around and saw that they had a copy of this game. And I ordered it. It was a good price. The label was kind of beat up on that one, but the price was good. So I ordered it just, to have it in my collection. And then just like 2 or 3 weeks later, I find this one locally. So I'm going to be keeping this one. I got to replace the back on it. But I think my other one will be going to Ryan. So anyway, next up we got Cliffhanger and Pilot Wings. I can already tell these games are going to start falling down here because I have quite a few left to go. We got Nickelodeon All Real Monsters, Porky Pig's Haunted Holiday, and Bubsy. Little label damage on that one. Next up we got Paperboy 2, Magic Sword. This might be only the second copy of this game I've ever owned. I found them both locally too. Super Battleship. We got Indiana Jones Greatest Adventures, Metal Combat, a Super Scope game, Alien 3, Gradius 3, MTV's Beavis and Butthead. I've had quite a few of these recently. I think I ordered a couple from GameStop back over the holidays when they were doing their sales. Super Mario All-Stars. Here's one that I didn't realize how expensive it was. The Flintstones Treasure of Sierra Madrock. Or is it Mad Rock? I think it's Mad Rock. Anyway, I believe I already own this cartridge. I'll have to do a condition comparison. This one's got an okay label, but the cartridge needs some cleaning up. But yeah, this one was, I don't remember how much it was going for, but I want to say it was like $30 or $40, maybe a little bit more. We got Draken, the first Top Gear, Zoop, Toy Story, Miss Pac-Man, Adventures of Yogi Bear, That's not one I see very often either. Radical Rex, which I can't remember if I already have this game or not. I want to say I do. There was another one similar to this in here that I needed for my collection. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Primal Rage, King Arthur's World, Super Battle Tank War in the Gulf, Beethoven. Was this the Ultimate Canine Caper? The Jungle Book, Wolverine Adamantium Rage. I don't think I had this one for the collection, so I have to put a new back on that, but this one I will be keeping. The Lawnmower Man, Cutthroat Island. Alright, we're about halfway through these, I think. Frantic Flea. I think this was the other one I was thinking of. Frantic Flea and Radical Rex. This one, I believe, I needed for the collection. Not a super expensive game or anything, but not one that I've ever had, so I'll be keeping that one. Mortal Kombat 2. That one's got something rattling in there. Super Adventure Island. Daffy Duck, The Marvin Missions. Another one that I believe I needed, The Wizard of Oz. So I picked up The Wizard of Oz for the DS over the holidays from GameStop. So it's cool to get the Super Nintendo version as well. I'm sure they're completely different games, but based on the same movie. We got Dream TV. Hey Punk, Are You Tough Enough? I might have a box for this actually downstairs. I'll have to look into that. Right, next up, we got Arrow the Acrobat, Populous, copy of Lagoon. I have another one of these to show later when I show the box games. Spoiler alert. Here's one that I thought that I had, but it turns out I didn't, and I'm very happy to get it. That is Shadowrun. So I believe I have the Genesis version, and again, I swore I had this one for the Super Nintendo, but according to my spreadsheet, I don't, and according to my shelf, I don't, because it would be right there. So, no, I will be keeping that one for the collection. Supernova. It's a cool shooter that I remember buying from my local Family Video back in the day for $5. Goes for a little bit more than that now. We got Home Alone. Copy of Bonkers. More to come on this one later as well. I want to say I had the cartridge for that one already. Yeah, it looks like it. So, Alfred Chicken, or Super Alfred Chicken, sorry. We got Chester Cheetah Wild Wild Quest. I think there was 2 Chester Cheetah games on the Super Nintendo. Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. Darius Twin. Mario's Time Machine. Mickey Mania Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. Lots of nice stuff in here. Another Mario title here, Mario is Missing. Followed up by Mario Paint. This is one that I needed. It's a shame that it's not in better shape, but I'm going to keep it anyway. This is War 3010, The Revolution. Another one that I'd never heard of before, before getting it in this deal. So, like I said, the label's not great, but you know, I think I'll put a new back on it, or maybe see if I can just get that sticker off there, clean up the front, and I think it'll be collection worthy. Tetris 2, Hook, Urban Strike, the sequel to Jungle Strike. A couple more stacks here. We got Mario's Early Years Fun with Numbers. I'll have to check and see if I need this one. I think I already have it though, but I get confused because there was a couple of these on the Super Nintendo. We got Home Alone 2, Genghis Khan 2, Clan of the Grey Wolf. Another Super Alfred Chicken. There wasn't many duplicates in here because this was kind of somebody's collection. So, Battle Clash, another Super Scope game. Scooby-Doo Mystery. Here's a cool one here. Super Troll Islands. Batman Forever. Super Mario World, of course. And 2 more here. We got Spawn Armageddon. I think that's Spawn Armageddon. Or no, this is just Spawn the video game. And Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bus Loose. So I believe that was all like that that was all like the better Super Nintendo stuff. Like I said, I do have some filler title cartridges that I'm just going to do a pan over of later. I have so much stuff to show in this video. I'm trying to keep it as tight as I can as far as time goes, but I do have some nice Super Nintendo box stuff to show in a bit here. So let me clear myself some room here, and I think I'm going to move on to the N64 cartridges that I got next. Alright, here we go with the N64 cartridges. Starting out with Hybrid Heaven, California Speed, WrestleMania 2000, Off-Road Challenge, Mike Piazza's Strike Zone, kind of one of the more uncommon sports titles, I would say, Killer Instinct Gold, Quake 2, Elmo's Letter Adventure, Iggy's Wreckin' Balls. I used to have a cool poster for this game that I still have it, it's just not hanging up in here. Army Men Air Combat, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. So this was one of like the last, I think, 20 cartridges that I needed when I completed my N64 set. I picked mine up at the Midwest Gaming Classic a couple years ago. We got Turok 2, Micro Machines 64, Turbo, Command and Conquer, Ready to Rumble Boxing, Rugrats in Paris the Movie, the black cartridge here. We got Toy Story 2, Rat Attack. This is another one of the last, I think, 20 or 25 cartridges that I needed. Another one that I picked up at MGC, actually, a few years ago. It's got some label damage on it, but yeah, this is kind of an uncommon N64 game. Biofreaks, Wheel of Fortune, WWF No Mercy, which is shot up to like $25, $30 now. So, yeah, this one's not in great shape. The cartridge is kind of scratched up, but I couldn't believe that when I was kind of pricing out this collection and looked up that one and was like, wait, what? So, next up we got Mickey's Speedway USA, Namco Museum 64, Knife Edge Nose Gunner, Mayhem, F1 Pole Position 64, Wipeout 64, GT 64, Xena Warrior Princess, Midway's Arcade's Greatest Hits Volume 1, Pilot Wing 64, Rainbow Six, Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest. We got Aero Gauge with a Blockbuster sticker on it. Magical Tetris Challenge, Winback Covert Operation, Hexen, Ridge Racer 64, WCW Nitro. A few more stacks here. Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers. We got Extreme G2, NBA Hang Time, Superman, the iconic Superman. What is this? Oh, Multi Racing Championship MRC. Body Harvest. We got Cruisin' USA. We got Tigger's Honey Hunt. Razor Freestyle Scooter with, well, I'm assuming it had a Blockbuster label on the back at some point that got ripped off. Well, actually, you can still see the remnants of the plastic on there. But there's no sticker on the front, oddly enough. So I'll have to check mine. I can't remember if mine has a Blockbuster sticker on it or not. Shadow Man, Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. We got Blast Corps, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, another copy of Mayhem, Gex 64, and then the last stack, I believe, here of these N64 cartridges. We got War Gods, WWF Warzone, Dark Rift, Asteroids Hyper 64, and South Park. So I did get some other 64 stuff. I got some nice boxes, which I'm excited about. I'm kind of saving those for more towards the end of the video. And then I have some cheaper filler cartridges that I got too that, just like the Super Nintendo ones, I'm going to do a pan over of those at the end real quick. But for the most part, all the N64 stuff I got was pretty quality stuff. Obviously not a ton of like Mario or like the Pokemon stadiums or stuff like that, and I'll get into more of why that was when I kind of explain where all of this came from. But for now, let me clear some room here. I have some more games in this box that I'm going to show next. I just need a little bit more room in front of me here. So next up, I'm going to show kind of just all the miscellaneous titles that I got with this purchase. Games that I got, a handful of for a particular system, but not a ton of. Like, for example, there was 2 NES games that came with this entire purchase, and they were both Super Mario Bros. 3. So, there you go. And then there was 1 Sega Genesis game, which doesn't sound too healthy. Of course, it was Sonic 2. A couple Game Boy games here, Super Mario Land and Pokemon Silver. And then a few Game Boy Advance games, Cartoon Network Speedway, Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which I'll have to look this one up because all of like the older Tony Hawk games have shot up in price recently since they announced the 1 and 2 remake, which I'm incredibly excited about, by the way. So I'll have to see. I don't know if the Game Boy Advance ones are super desirable anymore, but I'll check on that. We got, a couple GameCube titles here. Resident Evil 4, which feels complete, and it is, and Mega Man X Command Mission, which does not feel complete and is missing a manual. A couple Wii games here, Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World, which is complete, and I'll have to check. I think I have a couple different copies of this game, because they made a couple different disc prints. I don't know if they just made 2 or what, but I'll have to compare this one to mine. And Rune Factory Frontier, which was also missing a manual. And then 1 Wii U game. Gotta have Nintendo Land, right, which is complete. And then I got some DS games here. I'm not going to open all these cases because I think all of these were complete. So we got WarioWare DIY, which I can't remember if I don't know if I have this one yet, so I'll check on that. I'll be hanging on to it if I don't. Brain Age 2, Super Scribblenauts. I guess this is the first Scribblenauts. This one was kind of cool. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Super Mario 64 DS. Here's the other Mario and Luigi game, Bowser's Inside Story. We got Mario Kart DS. This one, which I'm pretty excited about, actually these next two. Deep Labyrinth, an Atlas title, which I will be hanging on to for my collection. And then another one here, it's not an Atlas title, but it is, I want to say Teresa, or Tresia. That one was also complete, so I'll be hanging on to that one as well. And then some 3DS games here. We got Majora's Mask 3D, Pokemon Sun, Mario Kart 7, and Pokemon X. So I believe that was all like the miscellaneous stuff. I got to clear myself some more room here and bring another one of these boxes over. I think we're going to be moving on to some disc-based stuff next. Alright, PlayStation. Now I got some really nice PlayStation 1 and 2 stuff with this deal. A couple PS3 games as well, but I'm really excited about this PS1 stuff because there's a couple titles in here that I'm super excited to add to the collection. This first one not being one of them because it's a copy of The Grinch. This was kind of like the oddball PS1 title in this bundle. But anyway, next up we got Destruction Derby, Worms Armageddon. This one is Galarians, which I would be keeping, but unfortunately it doesn't have the original case. So it's like a dual disc case, and it has the manual, but it doesn't have the case artwork. So I don't know. Before I do anything with this, I'll look online and see if there's any cases available for it, because that's one I'd like to have for the collection. Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Retaliation. We got Transformers Beast Wars, which I'm going to be hanging on to. I've never had any of the Transformers games for the PS1. I think so on N64 there was Beast Wars, and then I think there was another one on the PlayStation as well. We got Warzone 2100. We got Fear Effect, and all these I believe are complete aside from that Galarians. We got Tomb Raider, Alundra 2, Final Fantasy 9, Alien Trilogy, the Greatest Hits version. I think the Black Label version is kind of hard to find for that. Another copy of Final Fantasy 9. And then the last stack of PlayStation 1 games here, Legend of Dragoon, RPG Maker. This was the one that I was really excited to get. Jade Cocoon, which I'm going to double check this one to make sure. Yeah, it looks like it's complete. Is it just I guess it's just a single disc game in a dual disc case. The manual's pretty thick, that's probably why. So I'll be hanging on to that one. And then we got Dune 2000. Never heard of this one before, but it looks kind of cool. So I think that was all the PlayStation 1 stuff. Yeah, let me move on to the PS2 stuff next. And sitting right on top, we have a factory-sealed copy, Greatest Hits, of Xenosaga, Episode 1. We got Star Ocean Till the End of Time. This is in like the cardboard case here, which is not in the greatest shape, but I've never seen it in the cardboard box before. A couple of Dot Hack games here. So we got Dot Hack Part 3 Outbreak, or is it Outbreak Part 3? This is a series I'm not super familiar with, but I know that some of the Dot Hack games are kind of expensive. Dot Hack Part 1 Infection, God of War, The Suffering. I'm not going to open all these cases. Some of these were missing manuals, I believe, but I think the majority of them were complete. If any of them feel super light, I'll open them to double check. But Suikoden or Suikoden, what is this, 4? Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories. Alright, and Champions of Norath. I was surprised how expensive this one has gotten too. This was one of the more expensive PS2 games in here. We got, let's see, I think there was 2 of these. I want to show these together. We got Disgaea, Hour of Darkness, and Disgaea 2, Cursed Memories. Neither of which I've ever owned before. Wild Arms 3, Phantom Brave, which this one feels kind of light. Yeah, unfortunately no manual on this one, although I do believe, unless I got rid of it or gave it to Ryan, that I have the guide for this down in my storage area downstairs that I've had forever. I've never had the game. I have it on the Wii, though. I think it came out on the Wii. Yeah, I have got that one. Zone of the Enders, Second Runner, also feels kind of light. Yeah, no manual, but I think this is actually a really cheap game. We got Chaos Legion, which is a Capcom title. Star Ocean Till the End of Time. A Black Label Xenosaga, which is not sealed. And, ooh, look at that disc. How many family video stickers do you need to put on one disc? Secret Agent Clank, Ratchet & Clank Size Matters. One more big stack of them here. Ratchet & Clank, I guess that's the first one. That one doesn't have a manual. Final Fantasy, what was that, 10? Final Fantasy 12. Time Splitters. This one I've never had, and I think this one's relatively cheap as well, but it's Mad, is it Maestro? I think this came out on the Xbox as well. We got The Bouncer, Giants Citizen Kabuto, Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction. That one feels like it's missing a manual. Sly 2 Band of Thieves. We got Sly Cooper, Thievius Raccoonus. Also feels like it's missing a manual. Metal Arms Glitch in the System, complete. The Sims 2 Castaway. So here's Galerian's, this is Galerian's Ash for the PS2. It's in a Blockbuster case, but it is complete. I'll have to swap the case out on that one, but that's not a big deal. Got plenty of extra PS2 cases. This is another copy of The Bouncer, which is complete but needs a new case. Armored Core 3. Got Worms 3D. War of the Monsters. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Oni, just a few more here, see if I can do all these at once. We got Gauntlet 7 Sorrows, Dragon Quest 8, Journey of the Cursed King. Let's see if this has everything in it. So yeah, it looks completely complete. It looks complete. with the Final Fantasy demo there. All the ones I've ever had have been missing the demo for some reason. Final Fantasy 12, I think that's a duplicate. Is it Okage or Okagi? Shadow King? Dragon Ball Z, or Super Dragon Ball Z. This is an odd Dragon Ball Z game that I've never seen before. It's a rental, and it's definitely a little sun-faded on the front, and I don't think it has a manual, but I've never had this one before. Robotech Battle Cry. Jack 2, that one's missing a manual. Maximo Ghost to Glory in a blockbuster case, but it is complete. I hate all the blockbuster cases. They're not quite big enough for the manual, so whenever you get a complete game in a blockbuster case, the manual's always all wavy and warped. I might be able to flatten that out, though. Soul Calibur 3, and I think no, there's a couple more here. Kaya, Dark Lineage, and then 2 more PS2 games. We got Drakengard, which I think was another one of the more expensive PS2 games in here, and Dynasty Warriors 3. And then just a couple PS3 games. I think I got a few more that I'll show at the end in kind of like the filler bunch, but we got Mortal Kombat and White Knight Chronicles 2, which that one's complete. So that was all of like the better PlayStation stuff here. I've got a quick box next of, I think, Xbox stuff, and then we'll move on to all the super exciting, really nice boxes and manuals and stuff. So let me clear some room quick, and I'll be right back. So there wasn't a ton of Xbox stuff that came with this purchase, but I wanted to show it quick anyway because there are a few decent titles in here. For the original Xbox, we got Need for Speed Most Wanted, a factory-sealed copy of Powerdrome. So I don't think there's a whole lot of value here. I have like 100 copies of this on the PS2. Sonic Heroes with a $1 garage sale sticker on it. Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex and Destroy All Humans 2. So that was all the original Xbox stuff. So we get some 360 stuff here. This Halo 3 like steelbook with the slipcover that I don't really feel like taking out and showing. I think it's fully complete though, from what I remember. We got Street Fighter 4, Blaze Blue Continuum Shift, which if it is complete, and it is, I might hang on to this one. I don't think I have this one yet. I think this is a cheaper title though. We got Skyrim, Lost Planet Extreme Condition, Bioshock 2, Forza Horizon, Rocksmith. I never remember if it's just like the equipment for Rocksmith that's kind of expensive, or if the actual games have some value as well. But I'll look into that. We got The Darkness, Guitar Hero Metallica, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, Fable 3, and the last big stack here, we got Project Sylphid. This is a cool Square Enix title that I played quite a bit of back when I first got my 360. Kind of reminded me like a Star Fox or something, but super cheap game, but kind of a cool Square Enix title there. Bionic Commando, Capcom. I might hang on to this one actually, just because it's Bionic Commando. Phantasy Star Universe, which I already have. Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. Duke Nukem Forever. Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4. Cameo. Elements of Power. Another Dragon Ball game here. Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. We got Quake 4, and I think the last one is Blue Dragon, which is really heavy. It's got a thick manual. Oh, it's got like 1, 2, 3 discs, I think. So I actually have played some of this game back when I got my 360. I never made it to disc 2. It got like super repetitive, and I ended up losing interest. But I did play some of this one, I remember. So that's all the Xbox stuff. I'm going to clear myself some room quick and then get on to the box of the stuff I'm really excited to show you guys. Okay, so here we go. I can't really call this the grand finale because I do have a few more things to show you guys after this, but this was by far the best part of the deal and the part that I was most excited about. So this is a bunch of boxes and manuals for Super Nintendo, N64, and then there's a few other miscellaneous things in here as well. So I guess since I started the video by showing the Super Nintendo cartridges, let me show the Super Nintendo boxes that I got here. Not a ton of them, but we got Tiny Toon, Buster, Bust, Loose. So I'm not going to open all these to check. I mean, if it feels like there's a cartridge in it, I will, because I know there are a few cartridges in here. But this is box and manual here. A lot of the boxes and manuals are kind of separated from each other in here, so that's going to be a whole nother process after the video to match everything up. But here is the box, and the box only for Bonkers. So I showed the cartridge earlier, and yeah, this is completely empty. This doesn't even have the cardboard insert in it, which is not a big deal because the box is in nice shape. So I'll be able to add the cartridge to this. And I don't remember if the manual is in here or not, so if we come across it, great. But so here we got, so there's 2 Lagoon boxes in here. So I think this one's completely empty. This is probably the match for the cartridge that I showed earlier. And this one I think actually has the cartridge in it. It does. And apparently it belonged to Jim's. So I recently found out that Jim's was actually like a rental place local to me that's hasn't been around in a long time, but obviously they were around in the early 90s, and so I still find games all the time that have Jim's carved into them. So no manual, I think, on either of those boxes, but maybe we'll come across it here. I think this might be the last 2 Super Nintendo boxes, actually. We got Stanley Cup and Home Alone 2. So we might stumble across something else Super Nintendo related later on, but I'm going to move on to the N64 stuff. So I'm going to start with this. This was like the only accessory in here. It is a boxed blue controller. So I don't think I have the yellow one up there, the green one, the black one, and the red one, which I all got in the same deal a couple summers ago. And then here's the blue one, which the joystick on this one is pretty cooked. It's actually horrible. It's probably like a 1 or 2 out of 10, but that's not a big deal. I think I have right down here actually another a good condition blue controller, but the important part was that it actually has the cardboard insert in there. A couple of mine up there are missing them, but yeah, so I'm gonna actually, you know, I'm not even gonna put that controller back in here because I'm gonna replace this one with mine. So but there's that, and then here are some N64 boxes that I think these had cartridges in them. Kobe Bryant NBA Courtside. We got Mission Impossible. That one feels, yeah, the cartridge is just completely loose in there, no manual. Beetle Adventure Racing. I don't think I had that one. It's kind of crushed, but collection worthy. And Jet Force Gemini, which I don't know if this one was complete. Oh, that one does have the manual in there, so that's complete. I think I already have that one complete, though. And then, I guess, let's just get into the rest of these here. I have a couple fat stacks of N64 boxes. Like I said, there might be a couple Super Nintendo ones in here somewhere, I'm not sure. But I'm going to give myself a little more room here. These are all flattened like this, so they don't take up a ton of room. But I can see like this one, this is Nuclear Strike 64, and it has the manual sticking out of it there. So I have, you know, the complete N64 set, at least all the cartridges. So any of these boxes that I don't already have, I'm going to be keeping. And I think this is one of them. This is Quest 64. I think I already have that one in box. Command and Conquer. This one's even got like a baggie sticking out of it. It's like the game bag there, and the manual's in there as well. I might already have that one though. This one's pretty cool. Mischief Makers. So there was no manual in here, but oddly enough, I think I actually have a manual. I think I have the cartridge and manual for this game, so I should be able to complete this one. It looks like, I mean, it was a rental. It says 5-day rental right there. That sticker should come off easily. The front looks like a tiny bit sun-faded maybe, but I'm still definitely hanging on to that one. Same with this one. This is Gauntlet Legends, which I don't see a manual in here. Maybe we'll come across it somewhere else in here, but this is a nice condition Gauntlet box. We got Shadow Man. This is one that I know I already have. Battle Tanks. Bust-A-Move Arcade, or Bust-A-Move 2 Arcade Edition. This is a little sun faded, I think, but I'm gonna keep that one. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Bomberman Hero. This one I'm definitely keeping, and it looks like, yep, the manual is in there. This actually came from Game Trade in De Pere, Wisconsin. We always stopped there on the way down to MGC, except for this past year when MGC didn't happen. So we got Robotron 64. That's a cool one I'll be keeping. I don't see a manual in that one though. Vigilante 8. This one looks kind of rough, but the manual is in here, and that's a keeper for sure. The new Tetris, definite keeper. It's got some paperwork in there, but I don't see the manual. International Superstar Soccer 264. I almost said 2000 just because I was so... I mean, that game was on my mind for so long when I was looking for it to complete my set. But this is just ISS 64. The Magical Tetris Challenge. This is a cool one. This is a really nice shape for being a rental too. I don't see any sun fading on it. Definitely keeping this one, and I don't see a manual in here, but I want to say the manual for it is in here somewhere. Turok Rage Wars, I've already got that one. Charlie Blast Territory. Pretty uncommon box here, which I will be hanging on to, and again, it's hard to tell with these ones because I don't want to like unfold them all right now, but it does have a manual. The manual is kind of taped together though, but I'll be hanging on to that one for sure. Pokemon Puzzle League. I think I have a sealed copy of this game, but I might keep this one just to have, you know, an open one as well. I'll have to find a cartridge for it though if I do. Battle Tanks Global Assault. Alright. We got like, I don't know, 2 more stacks just like that one in here. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. Cyber Tiger. I feel like there's a ton of stuff in this one. Manual and a bunch of like paperwork. San Francisco Rush Extreme Racing. I think I already have that one. There were some cheaper ones in here too. All-Star Baseball 2001, Madden 2002, Knockout Kings 2000, NBA Hang Time, which actually I don't think this is a super cheap box. I know the game is at least $10. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I believe I already have this in box though. I think I have the first 2 in box. Here's the box for that MRC. I know I showed that cartridge earlier. Nagano Winter Olympics 98. NASCAR 2000. Here's a cool one. Milo's Astro Lanes. This looks to be in really nice shape too, so this is a collection piece. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Might be a condition upgrade. I think I already have that one. Star Wars Rogue Squadron. We'll probably be keeping that one too. Let's see if I can get the rest of these boxes here in one more stack, and then we'll go through the manuals real quick. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the manuals, but we got A Bug's Life here. That one's got the manual sticking out of there. Wheel of Fortune. Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey. NBA in the Zone 98. NFL Quarterback Club 99. NBA Live 99. This is the box for the RF modulator. RF switch. I think I already have this. I got a thing hanging up over there, so I can't see all my 64 stuff right now. But Madden Football 64, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. That's got the manual in there. Cruisin' USA. This one's completely empty, but I don't think I think I have Cruisin' Exotica complete. I don't know if I have Cruisin' USA in the box yet. This is NBA Jam 2000, but it's like all of the tabs are cut off. Like it's literally just like. Oh, maybe not. Actually. Never mind. It's just all folded in here weird. I've never seen that before. So, ooh. It's a little bit rough because of that. But let me bring this NBA Jam 2000 back to life here. Hold on. Let me just take up all your precious time to unfold a sports box here. But I'm just curious to see how this even worked. Yeah, so, okay, well. There it is, I guess. Guess I'm keeping that one now. Army Men Sarge's Heroes. 1080 Snowboarding. That one feels like there's a... Yep, there's a manual in that one. I think I already have that complete, though. This is just this will come in handy for one of the boxes that was empty. Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest. Fox Sports College Hoops 99. A couple more of those inserts. These are always super handy, because, like... I don't know what the percentage it is, but some of the N64 boxes have like the built-in cartridge holder, and then some of them were just the box, like this one, where you would need one of these to go inside of it. So here's the boxing manual for NHL Breakaway 98, NASCAR 99, and All-Star Baseball 99. So a ton I know I didn't end it very strong there, but a ton of nice N64 boxes that I don't even know if I'm going to have room on my shelf for, so I'll have to figure something out on that, because I'm going to be keeping a lot of those. So, anyway, let's go quickly through the manuals here. I might skim over some of these, but just because, I mean, they're just manuals and they're nothing great, but some of these I know I just showed the boxes for, and some of these are pretty good. Like, there's some decent Super Nintendo ones in here, which I'll start with. Well, I'll start with some of those first. There's really no order to these, I don't think. But we got F-Zero here, Street Fighter 2, and I just saw another good Super Nintendo one. Yeah. So, I don't know. These are, I should have put these in order before, but we got Brain Lord. So I'd be hanging on to that manual for sure. Killer Instinct, I've already got that one. King Arthur's World. Super Mario All-Stars. And then, oh, there's some more Super Nintendo ones here. We got Populous, that's N64, Top Gear, and SimCity. And then I think the rest of these are N64. There might be a couple Super Nintendo ones floating around in here, but we got, here's the manual for that infamous Superman. Okay, I guess this is the poster for, like, Grand Theft Auto. This is I don't know if this is Vice City or what, or Grand Theft Auto 3 maybe. That probably shouldn't be in here. Midway's Arcade's Greatest Hits Manual, Pokemon Stadium, Mario Party 1 and Mario Party 2. We got Pilot Wing 64, Asteroids 64, South Park, Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2. Okay, so some more Super Nintendo ones here. This is kind of cool. Super Troll Islands. I think I have this game in box already, but I might need this manual. Super Mario Kart 64, we got Ocarina of Time, Rogue Squadron, that'll go in that box. This is kind of cool. I didn't get the box for this, but this is a pretty hard manual to find, I think. Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, which I got the cartridge for, if you guys remember back, I don't know, a half hour ago now, probably at least. Spider-Man, GoldenEye 007, Super Alfred Chicken for the Super Nintendo, Lightspeed Rescue, XG2, and Pokemon Stadium 2, so ending it kind of strong there. And then there was a few registration cards in here. This is for, I'll have to try and match this back up. This is Konami, so this might have been that ISS 64 maybe. I might have shown one or two more Konami games. I'll have to do some research on that. But anyway, there were a couple more things in here that I wanted to show. A couple empty cases here for DS games. Yoshi Touch and Go. I'll have to track down a cartridge for that. And Ocarina of Time 3D, which I don't think I have a cartridge for at the moment, but that's one I get kind of frequently. Some other cool stuff in here. An empty box for a blue DS Lite, which I've already got this one, I believe, with the system and everything, so that'll be a double. And we got a sealed Game Boy Advance video of Jimmy Neutron, or The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius Volume 1. I don't think these are worth much of anything. But this was kind of cool. A VHS, promo VHS for Banjo-Kazooie. I'll be hanging on to this. I have a couple other promo VHS over there. I can't really see all the way to see what they are, though. I don't think I have this one, though. And then, I guess finally for this portion, and this is kind of a good transition into the last stuff I wanted to show. So this is the new Nintendo 3DS, and I believe this was like the Black Friday edition. I don't remember what year it came out. It couldn't have been that long ago because it's the new 3DS, but they made this white one, and then there was a black version as well. And I've actually had this white one before. I picked it up at a garage sale, or as part of like a garage sale kind of bundle. It was either last summer or the one before, but it didn't have the box or anything. And I gotta say, I'm gonna have a hard time getting rid of this, even though I should, because I paid so much for this stuff. We'll get into that at the end, but this would be a good way to recoup some of my money, because I think this is in box. I mean, at least 200. It might be 300 bucks now, and this is like pretty like new. You know, it was. I think it's used, but I mean, I opened the box. I had a hard time opening the box because it was so crispy still. But I did open it to see what was in there, and the system's all still wrapped up and everything, and like the little foam stuff. So yeah, this is pretty much like new. So I'll probably be selling this just to recoup some of my money, but I'm gonna have a hard time doing it. So that's kind of a good transition though, because the last thing I want to show in this video, aside from like the filler stuff, which I'll just pan over quick, is I'm gonna show the systems and stuff first. There wasn't a ton of systems that I got here, but there were a couple cool ones. So let me get myself some room, and I'll be right back with the systems. So initially I was just going to do like a quick pan over shot of all the systems that I got, but there are a few in here that I felt deserved a little bit more justice than that. Like this Ice Blue N64 system here. So I got a big box of cords and controllers that I'm not going to show. Maybe I'll just pop up a picture here of what that box looked like. But I did not get the Ice Blue controller to match this system, but I did get a couple other N64 controllers. I don't know what kind of condition they're in or anything, but I think there was cords in there for this system as well. So I'll be able to get this up and running. It needs some TLC. The reset button is stuck, but that should be an easy fix. So I'll get this cleaned up and working. The other kind of highlight system was this Graphite AGS 101 system, which you guys can't see it, I know, but it is the 101, and this was kind of a surprise. I didn't know I was getting this. I guess, I think, so I got this Wii system here. I think I was supposed to get 2 Wiis, but apparently one of them belonged to somebody else, so he couldn't sell it, so instead he threw in the Graphite SP, which I was fine with, because I've got a ton of Wiis. I don't need any more of those, even though they are, or have been, selling very well recently, but I would much rather have a GBA 101. So I think I have a charger for it. I don't know that one came in that big box, but I've got extra chargers. There was a Platinum GameCube system as well. I know there was a couple Wavebird controllers, I think, in that box, which was kind of nice. And I'm sure there's cords for this in there as well. And then there were 2 Super Nintendos, although they're not very appealing to look at. They're all yellowed. But actually, this one, other than the yellowing, is not in bad shape. But this one, I mean, this one's got a couple chipped corners and stuff, but yeah, it's a Super Nintendo, you know. And then there were actually, well, there was 2 Wii U systems, or 2 Wii U consoles, I should say. 2 black systems there, but there was only 1 tablet. And I don't know, as far as cords and everything, what was in that box, but this is really dusty. This was obviously not played anytime recently. And then there was a PS2 FAT system, and a, this isn't even worth picking up, a white Xbox 360, which I steer far clear of nowadays. I just, I don't even touch them when I see them. It doesn't matter how cheap they are or anything. I don't even go near those because I've had nothing but issues with them, and the ones that I have found that work, I don't feel comfortable like selling or anything because they're likely gonna red ring. So anyway, so yeah, that was all the systems. I guess quickly here, I'll do a pan over shot of all that, like the filler stuff that came in here, which, you know, as a percentage of like the total stuff that I got is not very much. I mean, you know, and some of this stuff is decent. I'm not saying these are all bad games or anything like that. It's just like, as far as like the total value in terms of like what I paid for everything, these were kind of all like the freebies or like the $1 type games. So yeah, obviously nothing too special in here, but I wanted to show them just so I could kind of show you guys like everything that I got with this deal. Okay, so I guess that means it's story time. Where did I get all of this, and what did I pay for all of this? As I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, I think some of you would be pretty curious to know where I got all this. So some of you who have been following the channel for, I mean, pretty much since the beginning, it would have to be at this point, would have seen and maybe known my buddy Dave, who I haven't been in contact with Dave in many, many years, but I just recently reconnected with him. He's back in my town and stuff, and he hit me up. He was looking for a copy of Paper Mario for the GameCube, and I told him, hey, you know, unfortunately I don't have an extra one at the moment, but we kind of got to talking, and he mentioned that he was kind of in like the end stages of selling off his collection, you know, a lot of which I collected with him way back in the day, and a lot of it that he continued to collect over the years, but he's slowly been piecing it out, and what everything I just showed was basically like the remnants of what he had, which to some of you probably makes sense. I mean, because there wasn't a ton of like super high-end stuff, which he definitely had at one point, but had already kind of gotten rid of. And there wasn't a lot of like the popular stuff, you know. There was Mario Party, and there were a few Pokemon games, but you know, not a ton of Mario titles or anything like that, because he kept all that stuff. I mean, he still has that stuff. That's the stuff that he still plays. So, but yeah, we were able to make a deal on everything else that he had, and it wasn't easy to do it, not because he was hard to work with or anything, but just because it was so much stuff. I mean, anytime I come across a bundle this big, it's very hard to even make an offer on it. And obviously, you know, him being, you know, a collector still, I guess you'd probably still consider him a collector. He obviously knew what he had, and so we were able to come to what I think was a very fair deal all around. And basically what I did was I went over there, I checked it all out, I took pictures of everything. I spent the next couple days, well, it didn't take me 2 full days. It was like I spent, you know, 3 or 4 hours going through, and anything that I saw that I knew or had a feeling was worth $10 and up, I looked up and I pieced out individually. Everything that was under that, we kind of just did like a generic filler price on it and came up with the grand total. And he was cool giving me like, I think he gave me like a 40% discount off of what it all would have been pieced out retail, which normally that's not, I'd like to be, that's a little more than I like to pay. However, I was fine doing it because there's so much stuff in here that I'm keeping for my collection, and so I know that I'm going to be able to kind of flip the majority of it and at least break even, if not make a little bit of money, and get to keep all of that nice stuff for my collection. So I don't think he'd care too much if I said what I paid for everything, which was $1,800. Which again, I think that puts it in like the top 3 most expensive game deals that I've ever done. But as far as how much stuff I got, obviously there was a ton of it, but I don't think this makes the top 3 for like top 3 biggest stuff. But that, again, that just means that there was a lot of quality in here, which you guys just saw, and a ton of stuff for my collection, which I'm excited to go through now and start putting up on the shelf. I was kind of dreading making this video. Not that I wasn't excited to do it, it was just that there was so much stuff to try and figure out the best way to show it all. And being in my game room here that is now doubling as like a home office, which is why I guess I didn't really touch on that earlier in the video, but yeah, so like a lot of people right now, I'm still working from home currently, so the game room is my makeshift office as well. So where I normally film my videos, which is on this side of the room, I've got all my work computers and stuff set up, and there's absolutely no room to film a video. So I moved it over here, which I thought would be kind of cool to give you guys something else to look at throughout this incredibly long video, which if you guys made it this far into it, I greatly appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I've got a lot of work ahead of me sorting through this stuff, figuring out what I'm keeping and what I'm going to get rid of, and getting it up on the shelf. So thank you guys for sticking around and checking out this whole video, and until next time, take care.